Okay, so we'll do our warm-ups and then we'll focus a little bit on the hips today. So feet hip width apart, toes straight ahead. So remember, the knees go like toward your second toes as you bend them. And sitting bones toward the floor. So those heels go a little bit out, and that starts to open the hips a little bit more because we tend to, or align the hips a little bit more because we tend to have our feet going out. And that's not really the most effective alignment for the pelvis. So sitting bones toward the floor, hips open, ribs in and up so that you're supporting your spine and lengthening it, and then shoulders back and down. Spread your toes out, no gripping, and just keep reaching your head toward the ceiling. Take a moment to get centered into that yoga frame of reference internally. Deep breaths, exhaling tension. And then we'll do our warm-ups. Inhaling, arms are reaching at shoulder level, way out through the fingertips. Keep those shoulders low down. Exhale, hands to your heart. Keep the elbows a little back, keeping the chest, heart open. And then inhale, arms way out to the front, but again, shoulders still down. And then clasp your hands behind you, press the knuckles toward the floor and lift your heart, head back slightly. Pivot at your hips, exhale, and come on into that forward position as deeply as you like. Spread out your toes, lift your sitting bones, tuck in your chin, bring your hands toward your head, and just breathe. And then with the knees a little bit bent and your chin in, start at the bottom of your spine and just wind slowly back up and into the back bend. So shoulders drop and chest lifts, head reaches back. Keep opening through the heart and breathing. And then inhale, coming upright, release your arms. Just take a moment, feeling what's going on internally. As we get ready to again, inhale and bring your arms to shoulder level. Stretch it out. Exhale, hands to your chest. Stretch to the front, shoulders always down. And then bring your hands behind and clasp them the opposite way. Again, lift the heart and stretch the spine and the back bend. And then pivot at the hips coming over. And again, just breathe and relax. Spread your toes out. Take a moment to align and balance things. And again, knees bent, chin in, unwind, and into the back bend as you reach the top. Heart high, head back, shoulders down. Take a few breaths, and then inhale and come up. And again, just observe how your body is responding as we get ready for our side stretches. So arms again at shoulder level, turn the palms up, and then bring your hands right above your shoulders. Pass and clasp, and bring those arms right next to your ears. Spread your toes, no gripping, stretch your whole body. Keep everything facing the front and lean without twisting to the side. So make sure your shoulder doesn't lean forward. You want those ribs opening on the side you're leaning away from. Push the foot down to make sure that that's as deep a stretch as you want. And then inhale back to the center. Keep your shoulders down and switch the other hand to the front. And again, arms near your ears, shoulders and sitting bones down, head reaching up with the hands. Lean to that opposite side. And again, keep that shoulder pulled back, not leaning forward. Stretch out through that whole side as you push your foot deep into the mat. And again, inhale to the top and exhale into mountain pose. Feel the sides a little bit more stretched apart. And we'll do our twists. So remember, spine stretching apart this time. So base of the skull, base of the spine reach away from each other. Arms reaching out, palms toward the ceiling. Hands above your shoulders, clasp your elbows. And again, pull those arms back near your ears and stretch up through your elbows and crown. And exhale into a twist. Take a breath and stretch. And as you exhale, come on over. into that forward position as deeply as you want. Knees as straight as you like. Lift the sitting bones. Keep the arms next to your ears. And just deepen as much as you'd like. See if your weight is still on both feet evenly. And then in the twist, work your way up as you inhale. At the top, lift your heart and look toward the ceiling, elbows slightly back, getting a nice upper body back bend, not working that lower back too much while you're twisted. Inhale upright, exhale around to the center and switch your arms. And again, lengthen that spine and exhale to twist the other way. Stretch up and exhale over. And again, deepen as much or as little into that position as you'd like. Lift your sitting bones, relax, and see if your arms are still near your ears. And again, keep the weight as much on both feet evenly as you can. And then slowly work your way up in the twist, elbows back, shoulders down. And again, upper body back bending as much or a little as you'd like. And on an inhalation, come upright, exhale around to the center, bring your arms up, and swan dive forward. All the way over into ragdoll. Just hang a moment. Lift your sitting bones, tuck in your chin. Just get a good stretch along the whole back of your body. Slide your hands up under your knees, stretch and straighten everything. So knees straight, elbows straight, and spine straight. Keep looking down toward the floor, not forward. Don't want to crunch that neck too much. And then exhale back into ragdoll. And just arms hanging, knees slightly bent, and chin in. Again, wind your way back into mountain pose at the top. Take a moment there, feeling your spine all nicely stimulated. We've worked it all its directions. And shoulders back and down. And let's just circle the hips. So you can keep your hands on your hips, or you can clasp the arms behind you, or you can reverse prayer position with those fingertips up between your shoulder blades, whichever way works for keeping your shoulders relaxed. And then stop and circle the hips the other way. Just get a little bit of motion going through that whole pelvic area and lower body. And again, after a few circles, just come back upright and into mountain pose. Feel a little bit more warmth through that lower part of your body. We'll do our pelvic tilts to get it a little bit more activated. So remember, toes go a little out toward the sides, and then bending your knees toward your toes, not beyond. Push the sitting bones back a little bit so that your shoulders come over your toes. Spread your toes out and keep the toes and knees and shoulders lined up, so no motion in that. And we're just going to work the spine and the pelvis. So pushing back through the sitting bones, forward through the heart. And then exhaling, sitting bones tucked down and forward, ribs pull back, and that chin in a little bit. But keep the toes, knees, and shoulders where they started. And just go through that motion a few times for yourself. Feel the hips and pelvis working, warming up a little bit more, as well as your whole spine. Breathe with it, exhaling as you contract, inhaling as you open through the heart. And after a few times going through those motions for your pelvic tilt and spine work, just go ahead and pause as you look down, and then inhale and come back up and again into mountain pose. So take a moment, just feel the circulation increase wherever it's working in your body. And we're going to tip those toes a little bit to the side again and do a little knee bend. So remember, if you've got knee issues, don't go all the way to the floor on this one. You want to exhale and bring your hands either to the knees or all the way down to the floor. And then inhale and come back up, hands to your hips. So as you go down, exhaling, just bend the knees toward the toes, not beyond. So you're going to be pushing the hips a little bit further back behind you. And then inhaling and just stretching and straightening the spine. Exhaling down, inhaling up, just going with your breath flow as far as you want. And remember, don't go too deep if you've got those knees acting up for you today. Exhaling and inhaling. You can go faster if you like. Breathing, really energizing the whole motion with a big deep exhalation on the way down. And then inhale on the way up. Always do what's right for your body. Remember, we're doing personal practice with our yoga as always. And then as you come back up, turn the feet back to the front and release into mountain pose. And again, observe how your body is more stimulated as you complete that action. Take a few breaths, focusing inward. And then let's bring the feet together. And again, knees bending toward but not beyond the toes, hands above. Remember, no pressure in the hands, just a little positioning and circling through the knees and the feet, as well as the hips and lower back. And then stop and go the other way. Just release and relax anything that's tight. Really work those toes and feet. And then again, coming to the middle. Find that spot out in front of you on the floor. And just lift your heels and see if you can balance on the base of your toes. So not all the way up onto the toes, that overworks them, just onto the base. And then roll back onto your heels, lifting the toes, and rotate through those bottoms of your feet actions. And again, coming up and feet hip width apart into mountain pose. Take a moment there and bring your hands to your heart. Look at your fingers, inhale and extend them up toward the ceiling, a little behind you if you like the back bends, and then exhaling, follow your hands to your heart, pivot at your hips, reach down toward the floor into ragdoll. Hands up onto your shins, stretch and straighten everything. And exhale back into the forward bend. Knees bent, hands together, inhaling. And again, to your heart first, and then all the way up. Another back bend if you like. And one more time, exhaling and coming all the way down. And then coming to the floor into our child's pose, transition, hips to your heels, hands palms up, and forehead toward the floor. Take a few breaths there, just get a good stretch on your whole body. Notice your hips are released in this forward position, and relax. Then slowly sit up on your heels, bring your legs out in front, and into the sunshine. Yeah, the sun has come out. Sitting bones back and toes pulling back toward you. Press out through the bottoms of your feet. You can separate them to hip width apart. And sitting bones, as I said, a little behind you so that you've got a good base of support. Now we'll continue warming up the hips. So bring one foot up to your thigh and let that knee just come gently down. Letting your body know that those hips are, getting a little workout today. So keep the knee to the front with the toes and knees up, or bring that leg over to the side, but still knee and toes up. Let the knee come as far toward the floor as it wants to, but don't press or tighten it. Just let it relax. That's when it stretches more. Keep the sitting bones a little behind you, ribs in and up, shoulders relaxed, crown to the ceiling. And then bringing your foot and knee into your hands or pulling the leg in more if you like it. Move back and forth for our hip rotator lubrication. And just keep the head reaching up and the shoulders down. And just pull that leg in as close or not as your hip is willing to work. And lift the leg higher if you want it more intense, or don't. It's always personal practice, especially with the hips. And then exhaling, release that leg. Take a moment, notice how different that side feels now compared to the other. So we're going to have to balance that body a little bit more. So go ahead and bring the other foot up. Keep those sitting bones behind you and the knee coming down as much on this side as it wants to. Relax, because that's when things release a little bit more. If this side is your tight side, bring that leg over to the side, even if you didn't on the other leg. Go ahead and breathe. You can have your hand on the knee, but not pressure, just letting it have a little extra weight to release any tightness. And again, just breathe and relax as that hip opens a little bit more on this side. Take a few breaths, shoulders and shoulder blades down, crown high. Keep breathing. Keep that core active and supporting you. And when you've relaxed and released that leg enough, bring it up and work the rotator, either holding on or pulling it in. Always personal practice. Do what's right for your body. Notice here and that outside of the hip, that's where this is working. So don't be overly doing it if you've got any tension and tightness there. Again, you can pull the foot higher if you love it, or closer with that whole leg, but it's going to increase that intensity, so don't go there if it's not right for you. And again, when you're ready to release that, just again, take that moment to notice how your body responds. And just a little butterfly for us, getting those knees over to the sides, pulling the bottoms of the feet together and heels in close to your body. And again, just letting those knees work out down toward the floor as much as those inner thighs are willing to stretch today. Lengthen through the spine, shoulders relaxing. Don't forget to breathe. And as you exhale, let the tension relax. See if those knees maybe dip a little further. And then bringing your hands behind you, right under your shoulders, a little fingertip or palm press into the floor as you lift your heart, and allow that middle of your body to release a little bit more, and maybe those knees to go deeper toward the floor. Kind of move the bottoms of your feet into position up toward the ceiling, which kind of helps align things a little bit more for that release. And then bringing your hands back to your feet, going to lift the knees and bring the legs back again out and into staff position. So notice your hips a little bit more warmed up, which is good because we're going to do our swimming frog. So come on up onto your hands and knees. Don't worry, we're not going to stay in table too long. Just get that core active and supporting your spine. Wrist, elbows, and shoulders lined up as you begin. And then move your knees out toward the edges of your mat with the feet still toward each other. And then slide your hands forward and come down onto your elbows. So elbows right under your shoulders, palms down to the floor, fingers spread. We're going to sink back with those hips toward your heels and bring the chest down toward the floor. Take a breath, just sink as deep as you'd like and relax. And then we're going to swim our frog. So as you inhale, kind of push your chest forward as close toward the floor, hips as close toward the floor as you can. And then exhale and bring the hips back toward your feet. So again, just rotating through your motion, breathing with it. Inhaling and exhaling as your body moves and your frog swings. So the lower you keep the hips toward the floor, the more those hips are opening and working. And the closer you keep the chest to the floor, that helps those hips stay low. So just do what's right for your body. Keep breathing with it. If those knees get too intense, remember you can always pad under them if you need to. And then the next time you're pushing back toward hips toward your heels, just pause there. Bring the elbows in, bring the knees back in, and slide back up into table position and back into child's pose. Take a few breaths, just relax. And then as you inhale, go ahead and sit up. And we're going to do a little twist here. So come on up onto your knees, and as always, you can fold your mat and put a little more padding under it, or you can actually put a pillow there if you need to. And then we're going to bring the arms out to the side. We're going to lengthen up, and we're going to exhale and turn your whole body toward that hip. And then reach back with one hand toward your toes, keeping the arms right across from each other while you're in the twist. And then back up, arms right at shoulder level, and pivot back to the center. Stretch that spine apart. We're going to go the other way, exhaling, and again, turning as much as your whole hips, ribs, shoulder turn. And then reach the hand back toward your toes, the other one coming up, and then back, shoulder level, and pivot back to the center. Exhale, and again, sinking hips to your heels, sliding that mat back out if you were padding, and down into child's pose one more time. Take a breath, just relax. And then bringing your hands again out in front, let's go up into table. Again, very briefly, we're going to do our pigeon, which is going to really work both the front of your hip on the one side and your hip flexor on the other. So bring your right knee between your thumbs and slide your left leg way back. Feel that hip flexor on the left leg working, and the hip rotator on the right leg is going to work because we're bringing that knee over to the side, and then your heel. And you can use your hand to pull it up if you want to, but don't overdo it. It doesn't have to come all the way. You can bring it as far as perpendicular to your body if you want it. Then check your hip bones, see if they're both about even, and then let them sink equally down toward the floor. So just breathe and relax. So we're not sliding to one side or the other as we're here. We're just staying in that even position. If your wrists don't like it, you can slide your elbows down and your hands forward and give a little release both to your wrists and to your hips, because this position is a little bit easier and allows you to relax a little bit more. So again, keep those hip bones sinking evenly to the floor, getting a good stretch on that front of your left thigh, and a good workout in this hip rotator as much as your body likes. So this right knee, remember, is over toward the side or even off the mat for a good opening. And the heel can come up as far toward the front of the mat as it wants. Take a breath. Chest and shoulders even, hips sinking evenly down toward the floor. So if your heel is under you, your hips won't get as far toward the floor. That's okay. That's what your body needs. Just take a moment, breathe. And if you love it and you want a little bit more, you can be still up on your hands and then lift your chest forward and look up toward the ceiling, shoulders and shoulder blades down. And if you're an 18-year-old gymnast cheerleader, you can bring the bottom of your foot and the top of your head together. Yeah, I've seen it done, but never have I done it. And then if you're still down on your elbows, go ahead and slide your hands back. We're going to press into the hands and bring the right knee back and the left knee up. And again, we're going to sink into child's pose, either arms out or next to your feet, for a little release through that whole hip and leg area. Take a few breaths, just relaxing. And of course, once you've released and relaxed enough, we need to do the other side. So again, arms out in front, pivoting up into table position, and getting ready for the opposite side. So knees under your hips, wrist, elbows, and shoulders lined up, core still supporting your spine. And then the left knee comes between your hands, and the right leg stretches back. So this hip flexor on the front of that thigh is getting a nice stretch. This time the left knee is coming to the left side of the mat. And again, you can bring that heel as much forward as you'd like. You can stay there and just even up those hip bones, sinking them down evenly toward the floor. Or if you're needing a little bit of release in your wrists or your hips, you can slide those hands forward and come down onto your elbows. Again, shoulders and chest stay even. Shoulder blades always in any position toward your waist. That heel is as far toward the front as you like. And those hips are sinking evenly down toward the floor. So if you've got your heel underneath you, you're not going to be able to go as deep. And if you're loving it with your hands still down, remember you can always maximize a little bit more with a bit of a back bend, coming down, or you can do the 18-year-old gymnast cheerleader move. Take a moment and breathe. Let your whole body relax. Remember, relaxing is the key in yoga to getting deeper into each position, because when you relax the muscles, they stretch more, they release more, and they go deeper. But only if you relax. If you're tensing and tightening, they tense and tighten, and they don't want to go any further. So again, if you're down on your elbows, bring your hands back under your shoulders onto the mat. And again, we're going to press into the hands as we pull the left knee back and the right knee up. And once more, hips to your heels, coming down and into a nice release, child's pose. Take a moment, breathing, just relaxing. Feel the release through the hips. And then sitting up, bring your legs out in front and into staff position. So press out through the bottoms of your feet, knees and toes up, core active, supporting you, shoulders relaxed. And then with that core supporting you, just go ahead and roll down onto your sacrum, onto your ribs, onto your shoulder blades and shoulders and mat. Now as you get into that recline integration, just even things out as we get ready for a little final twist. So hands, palms up away from your shoulders. Bring those shoulders and shoulder blades down toward the floor. And we'll just do our regular bent knee twist. So sitting bones toward your heels, bending your knees, back pressing down, heels in right next to your sitting bones, and knees straight up toward the ceiling. So remember, roll in at the top of the thighs to make sure those knees don't spread apart. Press your back down, lift your feet, knees right above your hips. And then we're just going to roll the knees over on one side and turn your head toward the opposite side. Your hands can be palms up or down, whatever stabilizes your shoulders for you better. And those knees can come as far toward the floor as they want. You can put a pillow under the knees if that's more comfortable, or you can keep your feet on the floor. If you love the lower back twist, you can bring your knees up toward your elbow. That's going to give you more work in that lower back. Don't go there if you don't need it. Shoulders and shoulder blades down, nice middle back twist. And head turning, neck and shoulder area twist. Don't go there if you've got neck issues. So just minimize or maximize always personal practice in your twists. Take a few breaths and relax. And then heels toward your hips, rolling onto your back. You can stay there, or if you need to straighten things out, just bring your feet to the floor first, and then knees again above your hips. We're going to, of course, twist to the opposite side. So knees rolling right at hip level, shoulders and shoulder blades staying on the floor, and head turning to the opposite side. And again, maximize or minimize whatever twist position is right for you. You can bring those knees up toward your elbow if you like more in that spine work for you today, or just stay over to the side. Take a breath, pad where you need to, exhale tension, and always just relax into your twist. Don't force it, it'll happen when it's ready. And when you're ready to release again, heels toward your hips, and roll onto your back. Feet to the floor this time as you stretch your legs out. Turn your hands, palms up. Maybe move to the side to avoid that sun coming right into your eyes. Close your eyes, focus inward. Breathe deep. Exhale tension. And just let your body sink into that surface beneath you. As you relax all parts of your body, just scan, noticing where things might be tight after all that hip and pelvis work. Let that lower body especially just release deep into that surface beneath you, relaxing into the earth embrace. Shoulders deepening as well. Belly moving, and just exhale. Let your body grow heavy. Sink deep into the earth and let the awareness of your body go. Now, as you release those thoughts of your body, know that other thoughts will come to your mind. It's always the job of your mind to keep producing thoughts. It's your choice whether you pay attention. At this moment, there's no need to remember the past, no need to anticipate the future. No need to think about your yoga practice or anything else going on. Just allow your body to release into the earth embrace and your mind to float, drifting free like your breath. And just allow the thoughts to flow in and out without attention. As your awareness releases both your body and your mind, just allow it to turn inward to that peace deep within. Focus on the peace, letting it fill your body. Fill your body. And just take some moments being peace. And if you have time today to keep relaxing even longer, feel free to stay in your relaxation as long as you're ready to. If it's time to begin returning, getting ready for the rest of your day, just begin breathing more deeply and begin moving your body gently, however feels good for you today. As you breathe more deeply and stretch more completely, when you're ready for that final yoga hug of appreciation, bend your knees, draw those heels up toward your sitting bones, press your back down, and then draw your knees up toward your heart. Wrap your arms around however feels good for you today. Give yourself that appreciative yoga hug. Let your body know you appreciate all of the work it did today, especially through those hips and pelvis areas. And when you're ready to release, head to the floor and feet to the mat, rolling over to the side and sitting back up, getting ready for the rest of your day today. Thanks for joining me.